Let's execute an immediate, high-gear tactical vector shift away from the mist-shrouded coastal castles of Scotland, contemporary Highland magic, and ancient Celtic bloodline match tracking, and plunge directly into the cold, calculation-heavy tracking grids of modern organized crime syndicates, under-the-radar syndication alliances, and the deeply precarious world of elite New York underworld blood feuds. We are crossing the threshold directly into the hyper-monitored, penthouse-bound territories of a dominant Irish-American crime family, exclusive dark money underworld operations, and the lethal analytical parameters of a highly calculated fake engagement blueprint with vicious seduction, the exceptional pulse-pounding fourth structural deployment anchoring the globally dominant chart-topping Byrne Brothers series by the absolute undisputed sovereign of intense dark mafia romance, complex family loyalty structures, and high-velocity emotional suspense, Jill Ramsower. This high-stakes narrative tracking sequence delivers a thrilling look at an operational crossroads where a fierce, underestimated society asset, a powerful, dangerously possessive mafia boss, and an absolute defense of a personal sovereignty metric collide at terminal velocity. Let's lay out the strategic narrative grid. If you are a fan of high-octane, slow-burn romantic crime thrillers where an endangered, hyper-observant female protagonist must navigate an absolute maze of syndicate politics, high-stakes arranged relationship optics, and a deadly ring of active administrative and street-level gaslighting while running a blind survival loop inside a completely compromised criminal ecosystem, where an analytical mind uses deep psychological profiling, calculated behavioral manipulation, and absolute survival stamina to outmaneuver an invisible predatory underworld organization, and where the author utilizes an incandescent vicious alliance unearthing a lethal syndicate conspiracy diagnostic routine to test our hero's structural survival perimeters, this book is engineered to lock you in. Ramsower completely dominates the dark mafia forced proximity dynamic, capturing the heart-racing intellectual momentum, suffocating institutional paranoia, and heavy deductive depth popularized by genre vargs like Cora Riley, Danielle Laurie, J.T. Gissinger, and Michelle Hurd, while treating realistic cartel logistics, complex romantic tension structures, and protective close-quarters tradecraft grids with absolute technical mastery. The narrative tracking grid zeroes in on the volatile, calculation-heavy baseline of our central couple, operating under a severe, calculation-heavy handicap of massive interfamily blood debts, deep-seated syndicate rivalries, and a hyper-visible targeting profile by the city's ruling cartel capos. Behind their rigorous public appearance footprints and tense boardroom logs lies an intricate matrix of hidden faction allegiances, deeply buried emotional secrets, and sharp, high-stakes political maneuvers. Our heroine's collective defense mechanisms are locked down tight behind a lifetime of outrunning exploitation, her entire analytical focus strictly consumed by monitoring sudden threat vectors from rival families, parsing complex behavioral shifts from her powerful, cold-eyed mafia partner, and shielding her vulnerable personal autonomy nodes from being entirely wiped out by a ruthless corporate or criminal cleanup offensive. The spark ignites when an unexpected high-frequency structural anomaly breaches her active scanning perimeter. To survive a lethal imminent threat, she is forced to construct a strict counterfeit engagement pact with the formidable Byrne Brother asset, only for a series of suspicious sabotage attempts, targeted underworld setups, and calculation-heavy physical ambushes to threaten to permanently eliminate them from the syndicate roster. The official diagnostic metrics of the family tracking centers flash white-hot when their joint public operations and defensive movements reveal that their alliance is radically, impossibly altering the city's historical balance of criminal power. The standard boundaries of routine street-level crime and peaceful society protocols crumble, and our central protagonists run completely out of standard diplomatic escape vectors. They are thrust directly into an active, invisible war across the territory, where deceptive rival houses, highly manipulative kingpins, and a calculation-heavy underground enforcement team launch aggressive countermeasures to permanently suppress their survival data stream. The tactical parameters instantly explode as their historical and survival warfare turns completely active, transforming the exclusive high society galas, dark harbor shipping yards, and private fortified compounds into a volatile psychological pressure cooker and a physical battle zone. Our veteran survivalist protagonist is forced to deploy her massive intuitive tradecraft, environmental mapping skills, and raw emotional stamina to maintain her perimeter before the next turf realignment permanently deletes her progress. When deceptive romantic red herrings, corrupted financial ledgers, and calculation-heavy street ambushes launch aggressive plays to delete her path, her survival instincts engage her final deployment tracks.
Every midnight digital excavation, every silent choice to stand off against an arrogant syndicate boss behind standard security barriers, and every intense moment of channeling raw, unyielding survival mechanics chips away at her reliance on original peaceful rules. What follows is an exceptional, high-stakes war of perspective, tactical position, and raw human grit. We watch the syndicate elite's deceptive perimeters completely unwrapped as Ramsower reveals that the true victory requires more than just surviving an initial setup or managing a fake relationship. It demands an absolute, uncompromising defense of individual dignity, personal truth, and systemic survival against a cold, calculating machine of institutional hierarchy and criminal supremacy. While our central characters smooth over each other's psychological and defensive blind spots with devastating analytical force, creating a fiercely protective web of absolute loyalty around their union, a brutal series of close-quarters tactical confrontations and high-stakes evidentiary breakthroughs shifts the clock into its terminal phase, proving that historical emotional hazards have tracked them to their final outpost. To survive the impending locked grid trap and permanently secure her sanctuary, our resilient heroine must unleash an absolute, unyielding defense of her final boundary lines. It is a dark mafia romance, fake engagement suspense, organized crime drama, and high-velocity contemporary noir masterpiece that treats deep relational logistics and intense structural friction with elite precision. The tension here burns with a sharp, calculation-heavy intensity. We are talking about that high-frequency, one whispered confession triggers a fatal safehouse showdown energy, where a sudden pause during an active cartel tactical briefing, an unexpected shift in an adversary's protective physical posture during a high-stakes penthouse confrontation, or a heavy, possessive realization that an elite family leader has completely mapped your personal coordinates carries massive structural weight. Ramsower writes with an exceptionally fresh, vivid, and beautifully blunt voice, perfectly capturing the cold, metallic rack of a custom firearm slide, the oppressive, heavy atmosphere of a private club vault before a major hit, and the distinct, subtle scent of polished leather, expensive cologne, carbon, vintage scotch, rain-slicked city streets, and pure, unadulterated suspense. What truly elevates this fourth franchise entry into elite territory is the author's unmatched ability to balance complex, high-stakes mafia family dynamics and genuine romantic power tradecraft alongside a breathtaking narrative pace and deep emotional hooks. Our protagonists don't rely on unbelievable, superficial Hollywood superhero action tropes. Their immense situational intelligence, strategic patience, and profound survival instincts match the complexity of the chaotic, modern corporate and criminal underworld they dominate step for step, making their choices to risk everything feel profoundly authentic and deeply gripping. The pacing moves with calculated momentum, tracking intense conversational standoffs and breathtaking tactical breakthroughs before ratcheting up to an absolute, jaw-dropping conclusion that delivers total, hard-earned advancement to their horizon. Vicious Seduction is the definitive pro-level upgrade your high-stakes dark romance and contemporary crime suspense library demands right now. It is elegant, immensely fast-paced, and utterly unputdownable. It proves that when your entire sanctuary is targeted by a cold, calculating institutional monster, the most revolutionary play you can execute is to lock your perimeters, trust your elite survival training, and fight like hell alongside your network to rewrite the data. So secure your personal reading sanctuary, review your emotional defensive perimeters, open your Kindle, and prepare to track the syndicate.